So last week, like some of you may have been, I was watching the NBA Finals. What a series, man. Go Knicks. Knicks in 5. It was crazy. And I've been doing this for a long time. After every major finals game, especially when it's one of the teams that I'm a big fan of or my boy Brady's a big fan of, pretty much any team LeBron is on. We get on a call, do a quick debrief about how the game went, what we think, all that good stuff. And we were just talking and really just talking about how long we have been doing this kind of yearly ritual. Furthest back we could remember was 2012, the NBA Finals with LeBron James and D Wade in their prime, just absolutely going crazy. Brady and I looked like this, and everyone was obsessed with this song. Brady brought up the iPhone 4S in Siri. I talked about Jetpack Joyride, just reminiscing, right? And then he awoke in a repressed memory of sorts. He brought up CastleMiner Z, like such a relic of our past. We used to play the mess out of this game as kids, and I got the itch, man. I said, dude, I got to go back and play this. I got to revisit this. And so that's what this video is about. My experience revisiting CastleMiner Z in 2026. Let's do it. So essentially what I did was play CastleMiner Z in 3 different play sessions on the Xbox 360 over 3 different days. On my first play session, it was like a rush of nostalgia, man. It was crazy. Just being back, playing the game for the first time in years was like a rush of dopamine. It was crazy. For those of you who don't know, CastleMiner Z was released on the Xbox 360 digital store on November 9th, 2011 for $1. This game was developed by an independent studio called Digital DNA Games and was made by 3 or 4 dudes. It was crafted in an era full of Minecraft clones, and there is nothing wrong with that, right? But in a world of games trying to capitalize on the success of Minecraft, your game has to stick out, right? It has to leave its mark, and CastleMiner Z definitely did. It was basically Minecraft, but with guns. With this crazy backdrop of this nightmarish hellscape, everything is filled with thunderous dark clouds and lightning, and there's zombies and skeletons everywhere, even dragons. It was crazy. And at night in Minecraft, right, you can go to bed, you can skip the scary part. Not in this game though. There's no sleep function, so every night you're just fighting for your life basically. And that's what I knew on my first go around. I was cooked. It hit nightfall and I needed help, man. I really didn't expect anyone else to be playing this game or to somehow join me. We lo and behold, there he is, my knight in shining armor, man. Shout out to Ace Face. We were just hyped up. I think that we were able to find each other, someone else playing this game. Something that makes CastleMiner Z on the Xbox 360 really difficult to play and obtain now is the fact that the Xbox 360 is 21 years old this year. Oh my god. CastleMiner Z is a relatively obscure game, and in 2024, the summer of 2024 specifically, the Xbox 360 digital store was actually shut down by Microsoft. So if you didn't get it then, you're kind of out of luck. Not only this, but with all of your digital purchases on the 360 store, right, you are able to access them in a way by going to your purchase history and the settings on the console. However, certain games like CastleMiner Z have been hard delisted from the 360 marketplace, meaning even if you purchased them, you know, paid the dollar however many years ago, if you haven't had it installed, it's over for you, man. And that really sucks. I'm sure there's a lot of people who would like to relive some of the magic of this game on native hardware, but kind of impossible now to do it legally, I would say. Those of us that are left with the hardware on a 360, it feels like a dying age, like the dinosaurs or something. Aceface had kind of messaged me a while ago in the gameplay talking about far lands. So I'm figuring, let's go far, dude. He's probably got a base or something, and he just gave me a gun and stuff inside of his servers. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready right now. Boxing up the dragon, we're getting after it. The further you go in this game, the more difficult the monsters and zombies and stuff become. They become harder to kill and everything. And so, kind of under-equipped for all this, clearly. As you can tell, we're just kind of running for our lives and stuff. But we're kind of getting up into the weeds of this new biome and everything. So I figure, oh, bro, it's about to go down, right? We're about to get set up. But we really just kept walking into shitstorm after shitstorm. It's all good. It was a vibe. Anyway, CastleMiner Z really just had a lot of uniqueness going for it. I think, looking back at this game, this is kind of a sentiment that I echo across the channel in a couple of different videos, but I don't think a game needs to be super new or look the most pretty and have the most polish to still be fun and to hold up really well in this day and age of gaming. You can kind of tell by the gameplay, we're kind of just in this loop of dying and with CastleMiner Z, once you die, everyone restarts at the very beginning by the tower, because there's no bed function like Minecraft. So the other person has to be alive for you to teleport to them to get back to where you were. And eventually, we just couldn't sustain that and ended up going back to the beginning. So we're like, all right, hey man, let's build a base. Aceface, shout out to him. He's saying we need to hop on tomorrow. And I wish I could have. I had to work. I entered a really long stretch of work and couldn't play again for another week. I guess that's just the life of being an adult and everything. Super fun. But on my second go around, I just started a completely new world. I was like, I need to get a base from the jump. Just trying to learn from my mistakes of last week. And so I'm kind of getting it together, doing the grind of the game, and then boom. Some technical difficulties really started to plague my experience revisiting this game 15 years after its release. Disconnecting from Xbox Live, getting kicked out of the game. It's just stuff like that. And, that's to be expected when you're revisiting such a archaic piece of gaming history. And let's be super fair and honest. Microsoft hasn't done a great job of supporting the 360 infrastructure since the marketplace shut down in the summer of 2024. And I can't say I blame them per se, but I don't think that it's doing any of these games that have been hard delisted or anything like that any favors. But it's all good. So really, my goal in this second session was to just start getting set up and get back into the groove of this game and really experience it for what it was. And I was doing that. I feel like I was doing fine. And then boom, I get a friend request and we start messaging and he's on CastleMiner Z. Shout out to Taters. And we're both having technical difficulties. It won't let me join his game. He can't join mine. We're just kind of shooting it. And he's saying like, you're the first person I've seen playing today. And so we're both like, all right, we're going to restart the Xboxes, reconnect to the internet. So we relaunch, get in there. I was having some major issues on the restart, but we eventually get in each other's game and we were just hyped. And I think moments like this are almost like restores your faith in humanity a little bit. I know that may sound silly, just talking about a 15-year-old game, but we're both like working, hard to make this happen, get past technical difficulties, and this era of doom and gloom where the internet is such the bad guy. Without the internet, we wouldn't have been able to play this game and connect together. And so I just think that's really cool, man. So we're kind of messaging, we're kind of scheming, and it was just a great time. It felt like I was in a time capsule again. I felt like I was 11, 12 years old playing this game again, messaging random people, working together for a common goal. Like, it was really fun. But you got to give the team at Digital DNA some props for just going for it. And, I think nowadays the modern gaming landscape has a lot of criticism just surrounding it. And if someone was to make a game like this nowadays, they may come under a lot of scrutiny. Oh, they're just like copying Minecraft's homework, this and this. But they just went for it and made something that was fun. I mean, you got to think about it. This game is every like preteen boy's dream. Minecraft with guns and dragons. That's freaking sick. And also, your Xbox 360 avatar from your personal profile showed up as your playable character in the game, which I think is just so cool. Added another element of personalization to connect you to the experience with this game. Now, I only played this game 3 different sessions, right? The first one was a random Tuesday night around 11:30 p.m. The second session was like exactly a week later at approximately the same time. Session number 3 was the day after this, so Wednesday. Really, we were just having a good time, and we were working together to get set up and get new weapons and find cool stuff, and it was great. We had a lot of fun messaging, and Taters ended up telling me like, hey, we should message on the Xbox app, it's a lot faster, and he was right. So we had some great combos. That's why the messages kind of disappeared, but all good things must come to an end. He had to go, and I was like, man, I probably should go too. And so the next day I woke up, I was ready, said I gotta get in a good hour. And my goal on the 3rd play session was to basically just go far, see how far I could get, and hopefully hit 1,000 distance from the start, and maybe take out a dragon or an alien. I set off on my journey, and we were off to a horrid start. I got boxed like really quickly, and so a little discouraging, but I said, you know, we're gonna get back at it. Let's get it back in blood. On my way back to the scene of the crime, I get ambushed by a dragon, so that was tough. But in the spirit of my boys, Aceface and Taters, they clocked those dragons, bro. I said, I'm getting it too. Come on, I want it on feet right now. I want smoke. So we took him out, and then, you know, I was feeling hyped up, man. I was feeling hyped up. I was ready right now. Went back to the cave for one more night, and then we set out, and we was pushing. There was no all gas, no brakes, bro. I was ready. And just going back and playing this game again really felt like reconnecting with a part of my childhood, to be honest with you. And my poor wife, on this 3rd play session, she's sitting here watching me like, what is going on, you know? And I'm telling her, yeah, we used to do this and this, and we'd get the laser guns and fight the aliens and all this. And she's looking at me very supportively, but also a little bit like I'm crazy, you know? And something about going back and revisiting something you have a lot of really good memories with. It's kind of healing in a way, you know? And go back and kind of relive parts of your childhood, even for just a moment, you know? And while it's with different people, right? I don't know Aceface, I don't know Taters, but we're getting to share this experience with each other in a game, something that we both have a lot of attachment to and memories with. So I think that's just really cool. And you know, I think CastleMiner Z is a little hard to access now. Now, if you do have a Windows PC and you can run it, you can purchase the game on Steam for $5 or $6, and you know, you could hook up an Xbox 360 controller to your computer, and that would work, and you'd probably scratch that itch a little bit. But it doesn't necessarily have to be this, you know? I think that reconnecting with your childhood looks different for everyone, and there's nothing wrong with finding what that is for you, whether that's going back and playing old Pokemon games on a DS, or playing the Force Unleashed port on the PSP, or Wii Sports with your friends. Like, you know, I think there's a lot of value in that. And as long as you don't get too wrapped up in chasing nostalgia, I think it can do a lot for you in your mental health. Going back and playing CastleMiner Z really just kind of opened my eyes into some of the simplicity that you have when growing up. We'd game all day, worry about the playoffs, worry about LeBron. Hey, I'm still worried about LeBron, to be honest with you. And we'd get on here and fight these shrimp-looking alien dudes, and there wasn't a care in the world. And sometimes, you know, it's nice to kind of escape a little bit. As long as you're able to will yourself back into the real world and handle your responsibilities appropriately, I think this is a great outlet, you know? For all the hate that gaming got, I think in the modern era growing up and the war on video games and stuff, I think that nowadays, I think we're really seeing the tide turn, and while intentionality takes the forefront in terms of cognitive development and intellectual growth in the face of doom scrolling and not choosing the content that you consume and being spoon-fed things by the algorithm, maybe playing video games isn't so bad after all. So, CastleMiner Z, what a W game, man. This was great. And I made it far, and then I booked it back home. So, I think revisiting CastleMiner Z, it had some really cool elements. Was any of it super groundbreaking? No, but didn't necessarily need to be. It was a fun time. It cost $1, and it brought a lot of people, friends, and strangers together. So, shout out to CastleMiner Z, man, and shout out to Digital DNA Games. They're actually currently working on a remaster of sorts. I believe it's called CastleMiner Z Resurrection, and that is looking really cool. They've been doing some updates on their YouTube channel and stuff, so go check that out. I know I'm very excited for that. Looks like it'll be coming to Steam and eventually to consoles, so that'll be super hype. But yeah, revisiting CastleMiner Z in 2026, it was great, to be honest with you. Playing alone on this final session, it got to be a little introspective and reflective. That's all I got. Go play some old games, reconnect with your childhood, talk to your friends, you know, take care of yourself, all that good stuff. There's nothing wrong with that, and I think it's good for you. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked this video, please comment, subscribe, hit the like button. All that stuff helps me out, pushes me through the algorithm a little more, and boosts this video. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.